Welcome back to another episode of your favorite loan speed program. Pull out your PPs, and that is exactly what I expect you to do. Pull out your PPs, I'll pull out mine, and we'll go over them together and focus on this pick four on Oaks Day at Churchill Downs, starting with race 9. Not the late pick four, there's actually a pick four that starts in race 10, but we're going to focus on the one starting in race 9, the Edgewood, ending with the Kentucky Oaks. And in race 9, the Edgewood, I think everyone expects Sharing to be the huge favorite in here. She's really done nothing wrong in her career at all. 6-5. I kind of doubt we get 6-5, but rather than single her in the pick four, I'm going to take a little bit of a swing on a little bit of a price, and that is the 7 Maria Foote, who made her North American debut at Keeneland in the Appalachian back in July, and she had a kind of an uncomfortable trip. She seemed to be fighting the rider here and there throughout. Checked a couple times. It just didn't look like the smoothest trip for a North American debut. And I think it's very reasonable to assume, reasonable to predict, that she's going to have a little bit smoother going here at Churchill Downs on Oaks Day. So, not that I think Maria Foote is a real threat to beat Sharing, but if Sharing doesn't fire her best shot, I don't think it's impossible that Maria Foote could be one that's making a good move late in the game and might pass them all. I thought about using the 2 Hendy Woods, but in the end, I don't want to go crazy here trying to beat Sharing, so it's just going to be too deep for me in race 9, the first leg of the pick 4, 3, and the 7. And let's move on to race 10, which is the Ali Sheba. Again, there are 8 horses in this field, at least as I record this on Wednesday night. There are 8 horses entered in the race. Of course, we could see what happens with scratches. But as I was going through this field, I just sort of felt like there weren't more than 1 or 2 that I felt really comfortable eliminating. If I was to go too deep in here, it would be Mr. Freeze and By My Standards. Even Title Ready at 20-1, I don't think is completely hopeless. Really, nothing Dallas Stewart ever sends out is completely hopeless. So I'd probably include that one. I mean, Bodie Express is probably going to go to the front. And you never know. The one that looks kind of up against it, I would say, would be was I going with Hence? I guess it was Hence. That was the one I thought. But why eliminate one? Why not just go 8 deep if you're going to go 7 deep? So that's the plan. I don't like hitting the all button. Usually when I hit the all button, the even money favorite wins. So I guess that's Mackenzie or By My Standards, whatever. I'm going to go all in leg 2, race 10. And moving on to race 11, the La Troyenne. Again, the big favorite in here will, of course, be Monomoy Girl. Tough to argue with anybody who's going to single her. She's only been beaten to the wire once in her career, and we know she loves Churchill Downs. Her return to the races this year as a 5-year-old after missing all the previous year were they've been really strong. Even the low buyer speed figure that she got over the sloppy track here at Churchill Downs, it's hard to knock that performance. And then running the 104 buyer and the Ruffian when defeating Vexatious, who came back, as we can see, and picked up a Greenwood win of her own in the personal ensign. But again, as we did in the first leg of this pick 4, I'm going to, rather than single Monomoy Girl, I'm going to go just 2 deep in here. Number 3, With Dignity for Ian Wilkes. This is a little bit of a reach, I admit, but in the Groupie Doll at Ellis Park, you could tell she needed the race, and it was her first start since the previous October. So I think it's reasonable to assume, as it was with my long shot in leg 1, that she'll make a forward move here. Whether that forward move will be good enough to beat Monomoy Girl, I would say on a normal day, no, not even close. With Dignity is probably more likely to finish last than even second, if I'm being honest. But I just think if you go back and watch her replays, she's done some good things. She did put up an 83 buyer speed figure in her final start as a 3-year-old. And as we flip through the field, I mean, yeah, we've got a number of fillies and mares in here that have run in the 100s. But I think there's a chance this one could be set up to run a very big race. And if time form pace figures are your thing, we see she's projected to run a 102 late pace figure, and that makes her very, very competitive with the other fillies in the field that will be coming from off the pace. So it's a stretch, but look, there's a very good chance this pick that I hit this pick 4 and I lose money, if I'm being honest. I mean, it could just chalk out completely. Well, I'm not using the favorite in the Kentucky Oaks, so that's not possible for me. But you see where I'm going with this. I want to try to just get lucky with something that I can make a reasonable case for, and that's how I get to the 7 in the first leg, and that's how I get to the 3 in the third leg. And then if we go to the Kentucky Oaks, race 12, the final leg of the pick 4, the only one of the logical horses I'm using is the horse that I thought about singling, and that is Speech. I've talked in other videos about my opinions on Gamine and Swiss Skydiver, and of course they can win. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you that, but I think the race sets up really, really well for Speech. And my long shot in here is number 6, Byron Ness. If you go back and watch the replay of her Indiana Oaks, you'll notice it was her first start around 2 turns. You don't need the replay to tell you that. But she was wide, and she kind of just kept coming. And I think she's going to take a step forward in here. It's going to have to be one heck of a big step forward if she's going to beat the big 3. But, if you project that Swiss Skydiver and Gamine are going to kind of battle it out up front and maybe run each other into the ground, and if maybe then Speech has an off day, then it's going to be one of the closers, I think. I don't think Donna Veloce is ready for this. I guess she could win, but I'm not going to be using her. I thought about using Tempers Rising a little bit, but I really think I was almost inclined to single Speech. And when I looked at the cost of the ticket, I decided to go ahead and go too deep and include Byron Ness. So in here, we are 2 in this leg. We are 2 in the third leg. We are 8 in the second leg. That's 2 times 4 times 8 is 32. And then 2 in the first leg. That's 64 combinations. So if you play it for 50 cents, that's only a $32 ticket. I'll probably pay it for more than that. But that's my pick 4 for Oaks Day. Good luck.